G'day traders, Bula from beautiful Fiji. It's been a while since I've posted any videos, and it's also been a while since I've actually done any trades. I think going on exactly about 3 weeks now. Tonight actually, I loaded my charts to see if I can get some setups happening, and I was lucky enough to do two forex setups and two binary trades as well. And something occurred to me that I haven't mentioned to you in the past. We briefly touched upon it, but it's just happened within one of my forex setups today. So I wanted to touch upon that. Now, what you're looking at is the USD JPY currency pair on a 15-minute chart right now. Okay, see where the arrow is, where I've got the line, which is at the pretty much at the base of this red candle, or the wick of this red candle. This is where my forex entry was. Now, why did I place it there? Well, there's a couple of reasons why I'm looking at it. I did not trade during the Asian session. I only really jumped on somewhere around here to have a look to see what the market was doing. Now, what I was expecting is that the market give me some sort of indication as to the direction it was going to go eventually, right? Now, what I saw here was a hit to the low, then the market worked the low a little bit, and each time it's rising, okay? So we're seeing some degree of convergence. The other thing is that at this point here, the market comes and then drastically pushes back up out of this area here. Now, if we wanted to start looking to see if there are key areas there, there's a couple of things that we could have done. The first thing is that I'm going to draw in my fibs. I'm going to discount all these movements here, and I'm going to draw it from this point here to this point here, and I'm going to calculate this as being the official low and this being the official high just for the time being. The reason for that is I want to see how much of a bounce the market makes from this point. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is when it's bouncing off the 50, then that for me is a significant yes as to a directional flow of the market, or what's possibly about to come, right? Now, one of my issues here would be that the EMA 50 has now moved below the EMA 200. So there's a couple of things that I could do. One is I could, from this point here to this point here, calculate and see how many pips are sitting there. Okay, in this case, 24 pips. Now, for those of you that do trade in the higher lot amount, say 5 lots or 10 lots, 24 pips is a decent amount of money. 24 pips on 10 lots will get you 2,400 or whatever base currency that you're trading in, right? So you could be in and out in, say, in this case, probably 45 minutes. That's possibly the quickest 2,400 that you'd make. But in this case, what I was looking for was a hit of about 40 to 50 pips. So if I would have gotten in earlier, this would have been a good point here, but I managed to get in here. Now, part of the reason why I was a little bit late was because I was kind of looking at all of these currency pairs, and at the same time I was drinking a little bit of kava, so my reflexes aren't that quick right now. And that would explain if my tongue is slurring a little bit right now. Okay, so the reason why I drew this line in, which was kind of perfect, I wanted price to come back down and hit this line before I would actually take an entry, was because I'm actually looking for an average of all these points, right? First thing that I absolutely loved was from here, this actually landed on one of my fib lines. Two, when I'm going across the screen, remember, whatever the real estate is on your screen is a crucial indicator for you as to where you'd want to set your entry points when it comes to trades, right? I like to do manual entries. I don't like to automate them or put in specific price points. So in this case, I just draw my lines in, and when price comes and hits that line, that's when I take my entry. So I'm looking across the screen. These are my key support and resistance areas, and these are actual lines. Sorry, not zones or areas. These are actual lines or points that I'm looking for. Price points here, these ones here. Okay, this is a support area here. This was a resistance area. Um, once again, resistance, resistance, and then this becomes support now. So that's where I'm looking for my entry. You can actually do your binary trades off of this as well. Just be aware that you want to establish a bit of a buffer. So you could possibly have waited for price to come below this 23.6 fib line, somewhere below, and that's where it would have hit your Babon slope and your EMA 6 line. So you could have taken your entry there. Now, if you wanted to be extremely safe, you could have actually drawn a line in below the body of this green candle here. So your entry for binary would have been anywhere here, and you would have taken a call. In this case, price didn't come low enough for you to be able to take a call. All right, so that's how you calculate your entries within your mind. Now, what I did do, I took on a forex trade from here, and I waited till I was hoping to get it all the way up here, but I waited for um, price to get as high as possible. Luckily, I actually got out at the 40 pip mark, and here's the reason why. If I get rid of this, and this is the whole point of the video that I'm doing right now, is when I draw my fib lines in, okay, now I'm going to use this as the official high area because this is the bounce happening. Okay, so what I did do at the absolute right time, and this is where it's critical that we do our analysis ongoing, because if we kind of miss it at times, you'd absolutely screw up. So here's what I did do, and it was at this candle here. Okay, so this candle opened up, it went up and it started coming down, and it's kind of stayed there for a bit. It wasn't breaking past the high of this candle. So I looked and then I drew my fibs in, and I'm thinking, all right, hold on a second. I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, okay, there's something not quite right about what's going on with this. Now, this is where instincts come in. This is where a gut feel comes in for you as well. And as soon as I drew my fibs in, that's when I noticed. Look at this, my 61.8 line is there. Now, this is the crucial bit. It's when I did my analysis and I look at this and I'm saying, okay, this market's going up. Okay, and then I'll look to see if the EMA 50 is crossing under the EMA 200, then that to me is a red flag saying, okay, there's a possibility that the market could hit this and then come back down again. The possibility exists. Now, what that does is it makes my criteria just that little bit weaker in this case, because I'm thinking this market's going to go up. All the indications for me has been this is going to go up. This now is something that says to me, well, there's the potential of the market doing what it's doing here, right? So what I then do is draw in critical junctures, and these are my fib areas. I draw my fib lines in, and that's going to show me critical junctures of if there is going to be a reversal, and a reversal against what my analysis has been, where would that be? And in this case, this is where my 61.8 line, it actually saved me quite a hell of a lot, because if I would have stayed within that trade right now, I would have only been at 16 pips in the money, take away the spreads. In this case, I was able to walk away with something just probably to the tune of 40 pips minus the spreads, which I think is about 2.2 something pips. Now, in this case, this market could bounce back up again. Okay, or there's also a very good chance this market will continue going south. It might consolidate for a bit. Now, if we take, well, before I take the fibs away, remember when we were talking about support and resistance lines and support and resistance zones, okay? The lines where I said they would be at specific price points, and then the zones would be just like an area, like it's, for example, here's a blank area and there's a black hole there somewhere. You wouldn't be able to see the black hole, but you'd be able to see where price begins to behave strange around those areas, and you'd be wondering, well, why is price doing what it's doing around those areas, right? So in this case, when we're drawing our fibs in, or when we're looking at our EMA 50 or EMA 200, and you're getting some degree of manipulation or something going on screen that doesn't look normal to you. These are the key junctures that I'm talking about. That's what you've got to pay attention to. And in this case, if you have a look to see this here, see this doji that appears. If our fibs were in there, we'd be looking at this wondering, well, why did that happen? Why was there a wick created around here? You could have said, yes, that's your EMA 50 that's there, and the market price bounced off of that. But you could also actually say there's a little bit of confluence happening there because your 50 fib line is there as well. Okay, and as a result of it, price for 15 minutes or so slowed down there. So this is the market makers doing something around those areas. Now, there's a lot of traders out there that possibly aren't used to, familiar with trading with fibs, or a lot of forex traders I know, they just don't like it. It doesn't matter. If there's something on your screen and an indicator like a fib line can actually give you a little bit more information which will help you to trade better, use it. Okay, so in this case, that helps you understand why the market did what it did. In this case here as well, why this slowed down again. The 61.8 line was there, so that gave me a little bit more of an indication from the market that, hey, you know what, we're going to behave a little bit strange around those times. It's like the market goes through its monthly cycle somewhere around here, and so it goes and has a whole heap of emotions and stuff happening, and then it pulls back. So in this case, if I would have stayed within my trade, say for instance this market bounces back up and eventually goes and hits the EMA 200, okay, that which would be a decent amount of pips that I've collected. Now, because this analysis helped me get out earlier, what I've prevented myself is possibly an hour's worth of torture, or possibly another half hour from this point on before price came back up here. Okay, and you give yourself a whole heap of mental torture there. So just be aware of the fact that if, say for instance, you have selected your entries correctly, just going off an analysis, keep doing your analysis just in case you got something wrong. And this is more specific to Forex here, just in case you did something wrong. In this case, where I was very lucky to realize very quickly that the 61.8 line was here, and if given this movement below the EMA 200, if the market was going to bounce back, it could have done it in two areas. One could have been here and the other could have been here. Lucky for me, it didn't do it here, otherwise I would have been scratching my head for a bit. But in this case, I managed to collect about 40 pips, right? Now, what was the other thing? Okay, I did not take a binary entry here, but this is something that you could have done here. The other forex trade that I did was off of this one. Now, my entry was here straight after this move. I was actually trading binary off of this, and then I realized that this was a double top setup that was happening. So my binary trade, if I can zoom that in so you guys can have a better look, was off of this candle. The entry for me was where my green line is. Okay, and the reason for that, if I can zoom out, yeah, that's okay, I think. Part of the reason, again, going towards the left of your screen, we're looking for support and resistance areas. I think this for me was good enough. There's a number of points being hit there. This was another biggie that was very comfortable, and then also that the top body of this was just on the line. So what I was expecting is that price will climb up, hit it, and then come back down. Now, after this wave, what you do look for is a gravitational pull down. Okay, I have said it in the past. I prefer doing more puts than I do calls, simply because I think gravity has a stronger effect, or fear is a stronger emotion than greed. But you kind of just know that now the market is about to fall and this is going to eventually pull down. The reason why I prefer this as opposed to the USD JPY trade, I could have done a call on this one. what the major difference between the two, because the analysis is pretty much the same, is where when I'm doing these sorts of trades, I'd like for price to have hit past the body of the previous candle. Okay, not only past that, past my buffer line, and then that's when I take my entries. Here, it very comfortably hit my EMA 6 and my the Babon slope line. Here, USD JPY, it didn't. Let me zoom in. It didn't. Okay, so it didn't really get past here. It didn't get past my fib line. It did not get to the bottom body of this. So what do? We avoid that trade. All right. Now, forex wise, I jumped into this trade at the very beginning of this candle, and I actually went against my own criteria here, where I didn't bother to look at news, but I was very happy to see that it went completely with me. Now, I jumped out at 50 pips straight away off this same candle. Um, and that was done in 15 minutes. Now, right now, one of the things that I do is I only look to trade it for about 50 pips a week. I don't try and do more than that. It's Monday evening here right now, and we've pretty much nailed close to 90 pips, and so I'm pretty much done for the next 2 weeks, I'd say. Um, but yeah, look, and having said that, I want to also make it clear, there was no indication to me, because I did not look at news, so I wasn't expecting anything, that this candle was going to be a long 50 pip candle. Okay, one thing that I was sure of is that pound USD usually does move quite significantly, and that's the reason why I prefer trading my pound pairs when it comes to forex. But in this case, just being at the right place at the right time, really. I could have gone for longer, yes. Once again, I probably would not have known. The other thing is, even with the entry of this trade, my goal possibly would have been just past um, my EMA 200 or so. And in this case, what I was expecting was probably 25 pips off that one, and hoping to push this one up to close to 50 pips or so, and that would have been it. Okay, so keep in mind, when you're setting your weekly goals, whether it be for forex or whether it be for binary, you want to be able to get yourself in a bit of a rhythm, week in, week out. It's where, for example, like what I said earlier, that when it comes to forex, one of the things that I'm doing now is where I'm just aiming for about 50 pips for the week. And if I can just do 50 pips for the week on a decent currency, like, pound or USD for me, then, for Australian dollar, I do end up getting a decent return. And if I do that week in, week out, then I can earn more in a month doing that, very safely, mind you, um, than I would possibly in 3 to 6 months of a corporate job. So can I also emphasize the point about doing it safely? Remember when we were talking about in my previous videos about just doing 2 or 3 safe binary trades a day? Eventually, where you want to get to is doing maybe a 3 to 5 £500, 500 US dollar binary trades a week, because the returns on that will give you more money than if you were working a full-time job, which probably would be about $2,000-3,000 a week, and for by far the majority of people on the planet, um, two to $5,000 a week will allow you to live an extremely comfortable life. So look at it that way. I wanted to show you something else. Euro USD. This is a trade that I could have taken. Now, what I did do was here was a bit of like a triple top setup. Now, I put my arrow in here, which was straight after this doji, and then I also looked for an average here. I did not take this trade, and there's only one reason behind it. I don't like trading the Euro USD simply because it moves too slowly. But what I did do was I drew my line in and I dropped in an arrow just to see how far the market will push to. Okay, now in this case, if I would have stuck around, um, in about an hour and 45 minutes, that's about 30 pips. So, could have been very safe with about 120 pips or so right now. Okay. I actually did another binary trade. No. Okay, anyway. Look, I hope you guys are well. Apologize if you guys are still emailing me and I haven't gotten back to you. Um, I will be back in about a week's time. My travel plans are extending again. We just booked a trip in for mid-January, so I'm still traveling in towards the end of January. And then in regards to trade copy and all of that sort of stuff, I'll probably get around to making decisions in February or March. Um, to be honest with all of you, just from what I'm doing with life, my own spiritual stuff, meditations, and that, I'm kind of venturing away from wanting to establish a group or anything along those lines. So, but I at the same time still maintain that desire to fulfill that dream. So, it's just something that will most likely um, happen eventually next year, but the decisions around it won't be made anytime soon. So it probably will be February, March, or something. And the reason for that is I really don't want to commit myself to doing this day in, day out. Without being certain, because if I do it, it'll probably be a good 2 year commitment, and then by the end of those 2 years, I'd like for all of you to be fully functional in being able to replicate something along those lines. But in the meantime, start establishing goals for binary going into 2017. I'd also suggest that um, it's the 28th of November now, so you literally only have another couple of weeks or so before the markets will start to quieten down. You're looking at possibly taking from the middle of December off till possibly the middle of January for many of you. Usually, the big institutions will start to reduce the amount of trades, or the amount of liquidity in the market will start to fall probably after the 10th of December or so. You'd probably still be safe up until the middle somewhere. So whenever the Friday finishes off and the middle of December is when you probably just want to take a break from all of this. Um, but certainly establish your goals going into 2017. One of the things that is extremely important, if you haven't done so already, discipline is extremely important. And eventually I will release a video that talks more about the segments of trading that you really need to pay attention to. But just for the time being, just quickly, what is extremely important for you is to start looking at this from a business point of view. And when I say that, it's important that you don't only focus on wanting to trade life, because you will screw yourself up very quickly. Strategy, having control over your emotions, having control over yourself in terms of how many trades you take is all very important, yes, but of utmost importance is also running it like a business in terms of truly researching your brokers. Because one of the things that I have been seeing, and I'm still getting emails in regards to this, is where too many of you are far too trusting of the brokers that you're signing up with. I did promise, I've got it on my list, where I'm going to revamp the website as well. I was thinking about putting a forum up on there, but one of the key things that you guys really aren't doing, and this, so I'm going to have to start doing, is I'm going to start blacklisting the brokers that I know are going to be absolutely sucky for you. But I do not want you guys to jump into brokerages where you don't have, to some degree, a guarantee that when you withdraw, your money is going to come back out again. Okay, so you're gonna have to do a whole heap of research. Even the stuff that I've got on my website, that's not just there for you guys to just jump into blindly. You need to look at how that suits you. Even their platforms, you got to look to see if that kind of suits your trading style, because it's for a lot of people. The different time frames, and not just that, even just the look or feel or the color of the platform will make a huge difference to how you react, or how you actually end up trading, and whatever your results are. Color therapy, all of that stuff actually matters, guys. This is important. So you want to look for a broker when you do trade life that is going to, at the end of the day, give you some degree of certainty of withdrawals. Then you want to actually truly train yourself. No one's going to jump into a 100-meter sprint race with Usain Bolt without actually having done any amount of training. And for many of you, and I don't know what else to do, you're jumping into live trading far too quickly. So go out there and train and train and train. Go demo, 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 and demo with your strategies that feel so comfortable to you. For those of you that kind of come out and start criticizing strategies, look, the whole point for you, regardless of whether they're mine or whether you've paid a bundle for that strategy, the whole point behind it is that it's going to teach you to see something that happens within the markets that's familiar. Your idea there is to take whatever we're giving you in terms of a familial point and then make it so familiar to yourself that it's as easy as breathing. Remember, it's when it comes to um, how your subconscious controls and functions your entire mind, body, and soul at the very moment. And not only just that, the subconscious mind is what is responsible for your current state in life. What we want to do, and it's almost like muscle memory, we want to, in your conscious state, we want to train your ability to actually to pick the right market conditions, and then to take those right trades just a couple of times a day. If you can do that, forget 3 trades a day. If you could do 2 trades a day for just, say, 3 to 4 days a week, that is enough for you to live an extremely comfortable life. And if you do this through 2 or 3 decent brokers that are going to pay you out, you're going to live an amazing life. I can guarantee you that much. And that's all you've got to do. That's all you're asking your subconscious mind to do. And again, it's as simple as getting your subconscious mind to do this on the same level as it gets you to breathe. Have you ever tried focusing your conscious mind on your breathing ability? Have you noticed that when you kind of do, all of a sudden you kind of lose control of your breath? It's also almost like you're breathing too deeply or not breathing deeply enough. But have you ever thought of the fact that throughout your entire days or weeks or months, or whenever was the last time you actually thought about your breathing process, from that point to this point, how your subconscious mind is so perfectly regulated your breathing so that you get the right amount of breath coming into your lungs, the right amount of air coming into your lungs, without you having to pay any attention to that. That's the whole point of what we're talking about when it comes to demoing. That's why you demo. It's just you want to make the process so freaking boring that it's just so natural to you. You just don't emotionally react. We get to a point when we're looking at the markets and there is zero excitement in terms of, oh yeah, it's going to move 10 pips, it's going to move 20 pips, it's going to move 50 pips, I don't really care. When you're there and you kind of just know it and you see it and you can say this is going to happen, money is just going to be easy for you. Money actually becomes just a simple byproduct to this. Money isn't the goal. Okay, so look, I don't want to keep going on and on and on. I could probably go on all night. But please just take that bit of advice. Sit down, establish your goals for 2017. Be very realistic. Be very true to yourself, because who would know you better than yourself? and then also jot down what your strengths were in trading this year, and which parts or aspects to whatever your experiences have been do you want to take into 2017, and what stuff do you actually want to leave behind in 2016. The other thing that I'd like to do, you guys to do, those of you that have watched the pendulum video there, get your pendulums out, do an energy clearing on yourselves for 2016. Remove the energy of everything that you've hated when it comes to trading, and you can do it for the rest of your life as well, but especially when it comes to trading, remove all of that crap, and then in that space that you've just cleared, enhance the energy of the stuff that you've actually truly loved about yourself and in your approach to trading. And in that, you can dream big, but put in the dreams about I'm going to surpass what my present income is, and then go forth from there. In terms of financial goals as such, give yourself 3 to 6 months, but establish within there. Don't put some crazy goals in there. I'm going to go in and I'm going to make $100,000 in a month, because you're going to kill yourself doing that. What I do want you guys to do is focus on establishing a goal that equals possibly whatever your monthly salary is right now. Okay, and you say, I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to try and replicate that the following month, and then the following month. And at that point, that if you could to leave work and just start trading full time, you're at a place where you'd be able to sustain whatever your cash flow is at the present moment. And before you do leave, you probably want to establish within your bank account 3 to 6 months of whatever your present monthly cash flow is right now. Okay, so establish those sorts of goals for yourself. Be extremely realistic, be true to yourself, but also dream big. Go do that. Have a fantastic December. I'm hoping to get back and put up a lot more videos. I promise you guys, I know there's a lot of stuff regarding news releases and whatever else that I'm going to put up. I think the last time I looked at the list, there was like 30 something on the list of videos that I do need to make on specific topic areas, including Nadex. That will all come. But in the meantime, just perfect your 2 or 3 easy setups a day, 3 to 4 times a week. Okay? If you can do that, you can nail anything. Alright guys, all the best. Bula again from Fiji, or in this case I should say Mode, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Good night.